but thina instinct yethu sithanda uyisebenzisa xa seyi last resort yabo la xa sukume yo amina kona ngwenza uthini then the instinct kicks in.
Yeah.
For me 2020 ngathi bengo 2 years ago, like I was tripping on Lil Baby album yakhe Harder Than Hard. The album is like 5 years old already. That's what I'm saying, 2017. I'm like, damn, 2017 type shit.
Then you trip over like shit that you didn't get an opportunity to banana.
Exactly. And another thing is irrelevance of which is like I'm actually on some like even after a certain amount of years, people can still bump my shit back to each charts and stuff like that. The album that I'm mentioning that just turned 5, that one, the Harder Than Hard, call it directly a freestyle, the ATL national anthem. That song is back in the top 10 charts. Like it's back in the top 10 charts by the 2017 release. You get that's the relevance, because most people like for years like even for us, like it makes much more sense when you listen to an old song that you liked and all that, and for many other bits of parts that you didn't hear, but then again, music wise, music has always been the thing, man. Like I'm sure now that you're on it, Mamputa is really the way forward, because through whatever shit we may experience, you can express it through music. And the main thing I wanted to talk about is Abandu not realizing that art is a science. Okay, how am I saying it? Like Abandu for when the science funeke wenze maths and physics kwathini. Yeah, that's the peripheral science. Le bakwenza when we are uxoxing science, be like, okay, I can point to that. But at the end of the day, we already, like sisonge around the world, we're busy with our sciences, in a way. It can change, from what kind of nature your science is, Like let's say, for example, if you're doing agricultural sciences, we already know agriculture is busy doing. So how broad that field is only sciences are 2 thirds.
Yeah, because we don't specialize in that specific.
Yeah. So for me, science is not the study of. Yeah, it's the study of the universe, but not through only in numbers. Nalandoba math, math equation, and even accountants are doing the science because they are packing down a part of the universe that no one else in field. You get like even engineers are doing the same thing. They're making new things towards ukwenza. That's why it's called a science. Now for umculo and art, for me, I also recognize it as a science, because if it wasn't a science, how come it has studies? How come abantu bekwazi ukwenza a BA indoors? That means there's something to be known about it in the universe. And remember, what I was saying is the science is studying something that no one else is avulele amehlo kuyo. Mna as a scientist yomculo, it makes much more sense, because I'm going to be exploring certain vibes abakuzo. I'm investigating, okay, what's the type of stuff people are into, kwatin. Then I'm gonna try and make a beat koyo anywhere else in the world. You get that's the science behind it. And then as I'm developing the beat, obviously bakhona amanye abantu who's gonna try and hop on it, and those are the extra people in the background, because in each field, like ayo field you want, even if you choose to be a lawyer or an engineer, whatever science you choose, there's going to be people in your background. Like for example, if you choose to open a practice of whatever, your law, your doctor, your engineer, you're going to need cleaners within your practice, you're going to need administrators within your practice, you're going to need, so it's sort of like that, because the producer play the part of the administrator. Both even in administration is there in music, like basically without bandi fakaglina producer, administration for long is correct. And it's so much that everyone in the world is doing a science. Like administration on its own is a science, because I can break that down, like administrative work down as best as an administrator. Okay, for my life's purpose, all I want to do is just be slicing down breakers, because we do have those administrators who born 50 years in the field, who are much experienced, that type of stuff. So that's what I'm coming to. Like, the art is a science, as much as people don't want to admit by science, because most times, let's say Pablo Picasso, the great Pablo Picasso, like umlowenzi drawings and stuff. At the end of the day, those types of drawings that were done at Pablo Picasso's time, yabo, akekho umuntu onokwazi uphinda yenze eze drawings ngolo hlobo Pablo Picasso zayenze ngazo, of which is that was his science. I was looking up some of this stuff on YouTube, yabo. Khona new kamshite to Blue Series, yabo. Now what they're doing is Club Blue Series, it's like a catalog of his art,
everything that he ever created.
Nah, not basically that. Like it's a catalog of his art. Like let's say if you're a designer, you're gonna have Makhosa, then you have catalogs underneath Makhosa, like a Makwala, Indon. Now here's his catalog, and then he called it the Blue Series. Here in the Blue Series, he only used blue paint, different shades of blue paint, just only blue paint to make pictures. Yeah,
okay, I get
you. So he had his own catalog, the Blue Series, and now think of that. Which other artists who can have a Blue Series and make that sense as Pablo Picasso made it sense? No one else, because that was his science. It's like Einstein.
What I'm trying to get out of Lendo, you telling me, is the fact that as an artist, when you are the innovator of something, that uniquely comes from when. And then if you and how you see the world really does matter, but what also matters is you being aware of the surrounding yako. Because one thing that I've picked up about you is you're just not nitty gritty about the deliverance itself. You're also mindful of the things that takes in order for you to be in a place so that you can deliver those things. Make an instant example of you loving hip-hop. And how you loving hip-hop transcended in you trying to tap into a gift that now through other people's music and through other people's inspiration, now you wafumana indlela of man, I can express myself in this kind of way. And then you understand that as a creative you cannot confide yourself, because one thing I love about my journey and everyone's journey is the fact that you need to be a very good starter. We must get into this sense that you're not going to be good at it from the get-go. But we have so much of people at first, especially when they are against into esifunayo, and thina sifuna ipav, kanti la pav ayizukunceda dog, because those things you need to go through alone. So there were people planting seeds in me saying, yo dog, you can use something, ikona into that you can step on. Like, nah man, I've been in a corner where and can be confident to talk about things that I went through, because now I mental clarity to say, okay, I can use what I went through to also ignite others, to say, okay, as much as you're going through this, how about you start to look at things this kind of way, so that you don't make the same mistake that I made. So to someone else, it's gonna seem like I'm trying to act smart. I'm working from my gift. Exactly. So the other main emphasis that I want to put around a lot of people that I get to be around is that you don't get here without any tribulations, dog. I've understood that the most important thing that you can ever do is make sure you have people that inspire you around you. Even if that person is yourself, be by yourself. And I had to be broken apart by many people who I held in high regard, because I was blinded by ubona at high regard. But anayo I opportunity obon, but okay, these are the type of people that are. So as much as I'm doing what I'm doing, I also need to be a people's person. I need to also dedicate myself to psychology. Which is the administration. So when even now, as young as we are, we talk about our talent and expressing it, we just can't emphasize or focus on the expression. There's also the monetization. There's a lot of things that we need to keep into mind.
That's what I'm saying. If you need people in the background, man, doing their own science to make this whole science thing science.
But the most important thing that I'm preaching, Kakuru, is first of all, when I be an embodiment of land. Because at the end of the day, everyone is going to follow that energy. Because I've been having people who, they're inconsistent, but because they don't want to admit their inconsistencies, is that fair to it takes just one day. You could be doing shit for a lot of time, going, I've not been depositing into my bank. I've not been going to the mental gym. those kind of thoughts are the one that drain you even further because you're thinking about all the time that you lost.
Negatives.
As if you're gonna get that, you're not gonna get that time back. How about because when I started wanting to do push-ups, bro, I was like, dude, you can't even do 5. And that was taking me away from doing that one and being good at it and let it fine. Like every morning, have that reminder. And then over a week, all of a sudden now I'm doing 2. After that, you consistency. If you take it on a weekly,
from it.
Exactly, G.
That's what you say.
Small bites.
Man, follow Numdu who's trying to train for a marathon. Like, if you haven't been prepared for that marathon for a clash, like let's say for example you've never ran, but you want to run a marathon, you can't just come around first training, run a full marathon. You gotta first maybe let's say run your 20 meters, your 100 meters a day, just to get used to it, just to get your body used to it.
And it's more than just the physical, it's the mental as well.
Yeah, exactly. Where you put your mind at into learning what you're trying to learn. So as I'm saying, it's like a marathon runner. This thing of success is not an overnight thing. You start from where, as you just mentioned, that and most of our mentalities, we can't start because we are at nothing already. Like what's
focus too much on all the things that are gonna be against us.
Exactly.
And I think fair to when you look on the outside, uzithatha away from the fact that there's a lot of power that you can gain from Uchonga up. Where I was in a point where I didn't like my state of relationship, but I knew I had power to change that. So when I started looking at the things, okay, what can I change about myself? Okay, I feel like I'm not being honest to myself, to abanye abantu about the things that I'm doing. How about I start being more honest? Iqala apha kum dog, because at the end of the day I had to listen to the criticism. Like, people are saying you're a liar. Let me go and observe that. Because those things they can only happen when uzniki xesha uhlala pha and serve through the bullshit. Like, I think ubani be right at this moment. I am an asshole. Yes, I didn't like how I spoke to Yena. It's because if you're to uyayikhupha la emotional attachment to Lando
and making sense of it logically.
Uzayifunda njani Lando if you're still stuck on being right? So I had to take myself away from that, and you realize when I look about you are in your own way.
Exactly.
Because no one is there feeling as into feel that doubt
exactly.
Talk me through that shit.
I sat down with a good nigga of mine about a few weeks back. Not necessarily a few weeks back, like last week, if I can say like that. Shout out to God, Lukashe. What the fuck? Why am I saying him even? But yeah, man. So Umchita hit me up on some. We were talking about is a Kemet in the Sumerian societies and stuff, like people get into even mind boggle. Now the main thing is that most of the people who succeeded in that time were people who were only really focusing on themselves, because at that time there wasn't really influences like the propaganda, social media.
Was not advanced as much as
and this civilization doesn't England, it's South Africa, South Africa.
Basically, a lot of things were not weaponized.
Exactly. Like mentally, and we weren't put under like we were under discretion as we worked discreetly to achieve our own success. But then at the same time, if we meet people who are trying to learn new things for us, Tina, we open doors for them. So one of the things we were talking about, Lendo as a Kemet, is there's this sign that we've been watching about. It's called the Ankh. You know most the Ankh, the symbol of life. The Ankh is like a cross with an O at the bottom, O at the top. I mean, and So it's exactly that. That thing,
is always carrying that.
Exactly. That symbolized life way before we knew religion as Christianity, Buddhism, and other stuff. Now, we were talking about that, and then we came to this third eye conversation.
I just have to make a point. All these religions are derivative of ancient Kemetic
religion. Exactly. All of them. That's why I've been studying Kemet, because I see Kemet as like the real deal. They're the ones that really introduce the factor of religion to society, to people outside other worlds, to be able to practice Buddhism, Christianity and what. It's all from their form of religious connection. Like
then talk about the mental shift that you went through when you were realized, because the more that I understood that black is great, the more I realized that all this time I've been fed lies, and these lies have been told to me for a reason, so that I can see myself less worthy of who I am.
It's weaponizing you mentally.
I'm supposed to associate black with struggle.
Exactly. That's how
black can't be associated with royalty.
That's the African shit. They're associating Africa as the dustbin of poverty and what it represent. US, shiny Harvard, England, shiny Oxford, whatever countries, it's like shiny whatever, with all the resources they stole from Africa, which they make look like the shadow of the bad things that's supposed to happen in the world. Like we are the originators of all the bad things. I feel like the formation of all these groups that are outside, like the militia of the formal militia in the UN and stuff, is because they saw that they were exploited and that they can't do shit about it and talk about it in a bigger level, but they can just retaliate with using violence. That's them mind-boggling, their third eye. So I was coming to this third eye conversation, man.
So, the conversation you had. Sorry for deviating.
Nah, man, it's cool. I feel where you're coming from. That's why, because in a way we exposed to kind of the same stuff, if I'm not lying. Not the same stuff, but we kind of know certain stuff that we know, you know. So we were talking about the Kemet stuff, yeah, bro. And then when we came to the Kemet stuff, we started mind-boggling about ourselves, because we were like, what you know about Kemet, yeah, bro? And I was trying to get to know a whole lot of stuff about Kemet from him, like in a perspective that I didn't get, yeah, bro. Him trying to explain what's happening. So as we were talking about the Ankh, he's like, let me show you my wallpaper. He showed me his wallpaper. He has a brand Ufemi, and his brand Ufemi's sign, like the symbol for the brand is the Ankh. Now the crazy part is, look at my wallpaper. It's been like this. Like, look at my wallpaper. The Ankh first, before the third eye. The Ankh, I was like, damn, bro, you have the Ankh also, like in his wallpaper. I'm like, show you the Ankh. And he's like talking about me, how the Ankh symbolizes life, yeah, bro. He talks about, you see the Ankh is sort of ovary shaped, so he was showing the eggs and the stuff, and then there's that stick there in the bottom. It shows the penis, then the always the womb. So he was telling me that it symbolized life, but and I got a new fresher perspective on it, because he was like, once you understand the meaning of life, you stop chasing things that aren't really meant for you. A lot of people outside is really chasing things that are not meant for us. Like even now, my papang, there's a lot of people like expect me to have a certain degree of like they've already seen ubani set that standard. So as I was thinking about it, I'm like, life, like what's this thing, life? And then again, we started talking about the third eye. I was like, damn, this nigga, the third eye. I had to show him my wallpaper. Then you see what you notice first when you saw my wallpaper, the third eye. Like everything I do, it's not that you see the third eye is not fully open. It's like awakening. It's because I'm at that moment where I'm processing information to get to know myself first, to see where I'm to go, like to see what's my true treasure, what's my true path in this life. You see, that's why I'm trying to be the jack of all trades in a way, because I'm trying to get into that media stuff. I'm trying to get into radio and stuff. I'm trying to get into rap stuff. I'm trying to get into acting. I'm trying to get into writing books, poems and stuff. Robot boy shit, dog. We are trying to get into that because we're trying to get our passion and feel which path in life can we give fully, so that people can fully resonate with that energy. It's like Charles Dickens. He found his path through writing books, and that's why when you read a Charles Dickens piece, you can feel like, yeah, damn, this nigga took some time and thought about what was, for example, Nicholas Nickleby, but to do when his father like lost his money, when his brother and his father, like there's a book I was reading, Nicholas Nickleby. So the book that I've read is like, you can feel the artist's energy. That's what science talks about. It's energies. Its energy is always synchronizing with things and nature and anabiotic things. Even life that does not have life can give energy. You get like sun can strike a rock and then the rock can be heated. It doesn't live, but it still retains that heat energy. It's that type shit. So as I'm saying, he got me to think, with all the things that I'm trying to do and with trying to open my third eye, there's a lot of factors that come to play. As I was saying, that as people in society expect you when you reach a certain age or a certain platform in life for you to be acting a certain way and
expectations.
Yeah. But it's their expectations and not your expectations. I feel like in life you achieve more when you expect something from yourself rather than people expecting it from yourself. When people trying to expect shit from you, you trying to live up to their expectations, of which is that's not life. As I'm saying, the Ankh showed me the life. Like I'm still trying to unpack the Ankh, so I open my third eye. Yeah, that's how I'm trying to explain it. So I'm trying to unpack the Ankh in many ways, that the scenarios, the shit we get, and I know maybe I'm 20 years old now. Most people in the hood is probably often initiated or somewhere. I should be initiated. You know, you get most people in the hood expect me to have been initiated at this time.
Look at all that pressure.
Yeah, bro.
Like,
can I live? People don't understand.
Can I live?
People don't understand.
Can I live?
Yeah, bro.
Can I live?
Can I have the life?
You know why I resonate a lot with these kind of energies?
Yeah.
It's because I see myself in you guys.
Yeah.
And I feel like now at this stance that I am, I needed people like myself. But I've gotten to a point where I'm glad that I have me.
Yeah.
I'm glad that I am this master that I am. With each and every day, I'm devoted to learning how to run the ship, how to handle pressure.
You the king of yourself. Like you're the kingdom within. The brain is the king. It needs to have the queen, the heart, and then you have the other. You gotta have it all connecting, it all networking. The science. That's what I'm trying to get it out. The science is not confined to math, physics, and stuff. Math, physics, and stuff. Yeah, sure. They give us these products, but these products we use them in accounting to fulfill certain things. We use them in music to fulfill certain things. We use them. It's making the whole science complete. So it's the synchronization, the energies. They never die. And we as people, we need to get our own energies, because most cases we chasing other people's energies without even understanding our own energies.
Like on the next point, even now, how when you start to discover your greatness, you start to scare others. Because remember, you upuma out of that box, because the one thing I always had to remind myself with each and every trial in Ambakuyo is that the box doesn't exist.
It never existed. It's just it's a psychological box.
So I had to realize, Dim who has to go through the dark, I have to go through the fire. And one of the most important thing is the fact that I'm going to be renowned after Senpumile Pa. The person ongenileyo pa is not going to be the person who yawaphuma pa. So when I talk about the lying game and zonke zinto, to a person thinking that I'm perpetuating a narrative, as if when I'm going through those trials, because Lukho, I'm going to tell you this. When you start addressing flaws zakho, uzokoyikisa abanye abantu, because uyazi-owna ngoku. Just remember,
and no one can make fun of it, no one can make you pull
and
you
I
down.
need to go and watch 8 Mile again, because think about la battle ka Eminem. When Eminem wakhupha zonke umjita that he could diss him about, he lives with his mom
Eminem, Uncle Sam, my niggas had Uncle Sam. I do live in the trunk of my man, or something like that. I do know that verse. He talks about all the shit he can talk and diss him about, and say, tell him something they don't really know. Like, he didn't even have nothing to answer now.
Dude, I'm not a rapper, but I saw part of me in M. And with every episode it's gonna be like that. Where does this all come from? Unomona so much about why does it come from him?
But then again, it's like reinventing, man. It's a reinventing. I guess we all, Abandomanis are not outside the box. That's the main shit. We are all so much in a box that the people outside the box are the ones who are able to see those inside the box, because those inside the box can only see the walls of the box. So they only think that the walls of the box is all they know. The only thing is all that it ever existed. But else there's life outside the box, of which is like people like us who are already outside the box.
when we're trying to get other people outside the box, it's not going to be easy for them because they're already used to being that confined.
And we must understand, Galuk, but they're still running the programming that makes it comfortable for them to know, but there is this box that exists. To them, you keep on telling them there is no box. You are just making it up. When
exactly mentally, it's all in the mind. It's all in the mind. Like I bore these lights a lot. You know, I talk a lot with these lights in China. They can achieve so much if they could like just shut the whole world out and focus on themselves and strengthen the parts they know that one.
Where's in this information age that we are in? Now I'm in complete awe when I look at them. Like if I was at your age at 20 and I knew the shit that I know now, god damn, I'll be setting myself up real good for and having that mindset of I need to also invest in someone the same way someone so talented in me. Because I think the reason why these boys, it seems like we are born now, I also feel like I bore them. That's why I'm saying, but don't stop Ubanaz's conversations, because probably no one is having those conversations now. You know, at some stance it might seem, but like subconscious. He's gonna be in trouble, he's gonna be in shit. He probably gonna remember all the shit. Whoever. That's why I respect everyone. Because young and old, and at any stance, I could be from a distance. Like, I never thought about it this way. I was 7 and I wasn't thinking like that.
And you see, the kids is growing nowadays. Like the 2-year-olds, 4-year-olds. Like they way advanced than what we were thinking. And I'm like, if I was 4-year-olds and doing that type of shit, maybe how as an adult would I have been?
And then you know that we take for granted is that awareness, dog, even from a young age. Then we have parents that because I think it starts in the home. Tina, we that generation that doesn't have parents that allow us to be us.
They already have goals for us. Like,
remember, it goes back to but it's all expectations that they have of us. They are not looking at Umhlaba and seeing what is moving and shaking, because abazali bethu ngoku all they're selling us is misery. Well, you can tell me how everything is going wrong, but I'm trying to be on something up. I'm trying to appeal to people's heart. I'm trying to ignite a conversation in their head. Through the same media that they are using to consume ezinye izinto. Because that asked me, but okay, Tando, when you are bringing this thing to the people, understand, but already there's izinto that against you. You don't need to be against yourself. When the main focus push this content, Isa resonate nabanye ke ngoku nabo they're gonna free it. We have to understand but sijongane ne-algorithm ngoku. We need to also think like this algorithm.
Exactly.
Well, even if it's pushing against us, we push back as well.
Exactly.
Because that's the thing I want to get out there is you are in the most privileged position ever. Because when you think you don't have the tools, already there are people say you have your PC knocked up ngoku. You already have someone in mind.
Right, okay, now.
I know, but
exactly.
Think about that. So uyalibala in network yakho nansi lapha. You know what my nigga said? And benimxelela if I'm doubting myself and going live on Facebook and so on. Because I was consuming other people's content and and thinking from that perspective. And then he took me from that thing, except the way also delivery people need it. Fix that on your mind, and when you deliver that, make sure it's on the back of your mind. Then it's this thing of you saying these lighters need to work on shutting out the noise.
Exactly, and focusing on what they specialize in and how they can make it. About life, I feel like unfortunately we sort of prophets in it, because we can't be prophets. We're not preying on anyone. But I feel like in life you get to a certain point in life where you find people like you. Not people that are you, but people like you with so many similarities that when you talk about this, they connect to that level. What? For example, if we're so confident about shoes, so it will, and you tetang soul, and inner soul, and flap, like, we can start a business company, so it will. And we can push it so it will, because we both embody having
born ihlangu or embody that
like
shoe.
in single and
Yeah, but
unless you try.
so in life we get to that point where we meet people born like who are also in that path of what you wanna go towards.
Sure.
Like abantu abasinceda who propel us to bigger heights of what we're doing. Because manditi like for umzekelo tathi I feel advantaged nabo bakhe ndakwazi ubana amabhutera njengawini.
Sure.
Because akhona amabhutera like in a way ezinokudala ndizibuza zona ngaphakathi and mentally through internet or whatever siye siphinde sipheleleke kwalapha kuni mabhutera but like I can come to the team and be like I've been thinking about this and this and this and that, what's your opinion on this, and I'm nandi ibinant's opinion and then you give me an opinion, then I get to weigh and be like I can value that his opinion because I already know he's with the same path than me, you see and abantu who are in your path, one thing your opinion yabo will always kind of matter in a way because ababandu opinion yabo, as much as I criticism in some places, it's always positive because they see what you don't see. Like babona nezinto wena ungafuna uzibona when it comes to succeeding or failing in that. Bro. Imagine umuntu one experience like 8 years experience manditi. See, I was studying electrical engineering. Like umuntu one experience 8 years in electrical engineering. By the time I get to that field, he's someone who's in the path of me being an engineer. So why not pay amagama ambalwa just for me to know? But okay, if I'm in the first year of working as an electrical engineer, what should I expect? He's in this 8th year. He already knows he's already seen first years for the past 7 years from his first year, how they deal. So he can already tell me, okay, this and this and this and that. You get?
And I think what matters most is the fact that you are driven by curiosity. You are stacking.
Yeah.
I think I need to go back to that Atomic Habits by James Clear. I need to read that book again. Habit stacking.
Yeah, I've been wanting this book, the 5 a.m. Club. I don't know where I'm gonna get it.
I have that book.
You do have that book?
Yeah, I'm reading that book.
You need to pass me that book. I need that book.
I said that to book. I'm building a digital library.
Yeah. That's
put
powerful.
Shit on the table.
That's powerful.
It's up to you about if you tune in or not.
But
eventually we are gonna get to a point where I'm gonna have a server.
Yeah.
Where this kind of knowledge the next gen needs to be exposed to this. That's why by my company.
That's what I've been thinking. Also, making a platform that can keep all this nostalgia of us in our times and our successes, so that and our mistakes. Let me not forget the mistakes and tribulations and challenges, so that the future generation, like when they tap into that energy of, oh shit, who am I? What am I trying to do?
Yeah.
They can watch this type of shit and be like, hey, I think I got an idea today of where I may be headed towards, since he talked about this and this and this and this and this, and I see it similar to this. Exactly. And that's how synchronization, energy never dies.
Yeah.
Like that's one of the laws of physics. Like it's law of conservation of energy. Energy cannot be created or destroyed but changed from one form to another. You get it, never dies.
Yeah. And remember guys, this is an educational platform. I love this because adzange ndafumana opportunity yo tertiary field.
Yeah.
But andiyekanga la ndibe disadvantage because zinintsi tertiary ndiye kuzo.
And you know a lot of stuff.
Yeah, so I can't disadvantage myself because Lukho, I'm not saying you getting a credential and so on is bad for Rwanda, but no, sweet what the form of education
Exactly.
Because I can bring a different mindset to you.
You know, one thing I've also mentioned now, Mebo, is that besides us now, like us and studying, about who find themselves as diplomats in this world, about no okay, I have a degree in this or PhD in this and this and this, I'm a diplomat. Then like Eastern Cape, or like
you talk
like,
about melanin being
like manditi ongena quite formal sort of education.
You can say black face because it's our problem.
Yeah, like melanated people. I'm basically talking about us. Like a black person that's a diplomat will always look down on a black person that's not a diplomat. Why? Because they have that sort of, they have already mentally planted, but he or she's inferior than me because they don't have this sort of exposure to the world, of which it's not the world really, it's something you chose to learn.
And then Gengogo,
What
one thing we also saw in Jail just a
yeah.
bit. Who educated you first of all? In a different kind of way.
It's all the masses, bro. It's the people in power, bro. They're always trying to make us see what they see. Because, as I'm saying, if you'd meet, let's say, a Rothschild family member today, like as I am, like if I'd meet, they'd probably look at me and be like, yeah, you can speak English. Hey, no, please don't stand next to me. They'll probably be like that. And that's how the diplomats be to abantu abasikim. Unfortunately, but iqaba for me is like a black genius complex because a lot of things
life is about perspective.
A lot of things ebuqabini kwalapho yabo that zimfihla kwalo kwabantu abasi-diplomats yabo, but then ke ngoxa se like come into play, it's extraordinary. Like we have traditional ways of reading stars, like as amaqaba. Sayazi bayimoon xa ime kwindawo ethile, lixesha elithile enyakeni as amaqaba.
Ask our people about the Dogo tribe. They were asking ngobani Dogo tribe.
Exactly.
Astronomy sugapi.
Exactly.
Boy, the fault starts with us seeing God as someone who's not like us. I've always said this, Nditi, whoever controls your view of God controls you. Because remember, if umdu who ordains pain upon you is white, and we associate white with God, then we are going to associate the pain that is ordained to us by the white person with God.
Yeah.
So now challenge
because that's what I've been trying to
fair
do.
to how evil do you have to be
up.
fair to in order for you utate a God complex you change, because now nesiphumo sakho. And just remember, fair to a person doesn't endorse you nje. Narrative
Corner like something you're expecting in return. Obviously, agenda somewhere. But hey, man, that's kind of sick though. Like people can be able to change a God concept and be like, damn, man, that's hard. That's
and
hard.
Plenty of us are not ready to have that conversation, because
even in the hood, man. Like we've been shown a lot of times, like a lot of stuff, is fake, but not really fake to a perspective, like it's derived somewhere of the original, and now we are not really even shown the original. Like most people read the Bible, they don't know even who combined the Bible. I know, because they say I'm one of the people that actually asbuza about iBhayibheli isukapi izothinithini. So we know King James through okay, King James is the one not iBhayibheli. He even has a book in the Bible explaining his life and all. Like just think of that and his experiences with God and what. Think about that and then civilization before King James.
But in this Bible, as the melanated person,
King James was black. The first king of England was black. They won't mention that because they're trying to hide it all from us. Like the white people are always trying to make our heroes and history more white so that they can have association with more being godly. Because the more history they have about being white, the more they can use God to be like, you see, we have so much history about us as humans on this earth. You are to abide by us because we are more connected to God. That seems more viable than a person that just doesn't even have history but just comes with God. You get
my next question is how does the 9% get to control the other 81%? How does 9% get to control the masses of the world? Because if we need to observe first of all the challenge sikuya as a youth, because I can't be satisfied with crumbs. I want the entire pie. I'm not saying they must go to hell and burn and all that, but I want what's mine,
and what's supposed.
Because I listened to a very interesting podcast in Namhlanje, and it had this question, Gumba. We are paying rent in the land that we own. What do we own in this land, Tina, as South Africans? Because last time I checked, when I look at the JSE,
it's white and listed companies are there, man.
Economic transformation,
exactly, that's what I'm saying.
So I'm trying to make sure I'm not picking if I ending capable extend because this is life. When you unlock minds, it's like remember fethu abanye abantu bakho-ready uphuma ku-matrix fethu. So you should be mindful of that fethu kuba uzo-weaponize a zombie, a dead person.
fully conscious.
Yayibona la way. So le nto sithi kuba when you pushing a message yakho, have la nto kuba it's gonna resonate only with a few, because the many are already bona in the system.
That's how the 9% gets to control the 91%. It's systemated. They made sure they put systems in place and they tested those systems. It's like we have biochemical diseases already, or COVID-19 or Ebolas or HIVs. Like, where the fuck have they been for the past 300 years? They come around and it's stuff that's experiment, like Zindo is test wow is and they kill us as the not black civilization but black population, because they know we will outlive the white people. They know we will outlive them. Like, evolution is survival of the fittest, and it occurs through natural selection. Natural selection picks the one that has the most favorable characteristics to live on,
because
will
even
survive
through this poverty they have injected us to, we still live
it's
on.
one of
creative dog sense as long as
it's one of the warfares they try and impose
and
on
this
us.
morning I keep on having the way that has to do with the gas economics, dog. There's an economy that has not been tapped in up, that doesn't need the consolidation yabantu abangaphandle, because at the end of the day we can be our own government.
Gaddafi was trying that. He killed him, bro. You get the white people in money is always trying to get their money in their money. That's how we live, bro. But at the end of the day, we can still put those systems in place, but ikuthi abantu aba around thina, because before ithetha nawe uqaleni babalekile abantu esikhethu uzinqunga nabo, because ngaba influencer indlela esiphela senza ngazo.
Exactly fethu, exactly.
So I feel
nam ndayincanywa la way of always literally being in a position where you're putting people to the test, because we need to get this into our heads that iron sharpens iron. If mentality na askok in a good space, how are we going to be able to challenge one another? Have you seen when shit hits the fan? Because small petty things can come in between us. Like, I've been in friendships with people, and then I saw their true colors, and then I wondered, okay, you and I are functioning from a mindset of fear. You always want to keep people under control, because you have this abandonment issues onazo that you haven't dealt with.
Inferiority complex. Exactly. Like
unale neediness okusoloko ufuna ukuthandwe and so on, but deep inside when you're alone, there's this hole that can't be filled in. And look at how we're losing our good friends and brothers, because singabanye we take ownership of our bullshit. Trust me, the moment I knew Bandi Akuda Fit is when I took ownership of my bullshit. Even if it made me a person who was less likely to be liked. But I appreciated the fact that I liked myself more, because now I can face my own bullshit. I can shit and lay in my shit and be like, nigga, you did this shit, now lie in it. These are the repercussions of it. It ain't nice, G.
It is never gonna be nice.
It ain't nice. But I'm thinking about younger mental strength, and then I build the true land, because I understood, but anything in the guy, take ownership. Take ownership, G.
Exactly.
That girl did you good. Take ownership. It's nothing to do with yena. It's everything to do with wena. Because if I'm not dog, I can place myself in a position where I'm doing all the right stuff and still isn't against him. Does that make me less of a person that I'm supposed to be? No, it's not supposed to make me. You could be going the wrong way for 30 years. If you want to hear regret, and listen to them. I was this, I used to be this, I used to have this. Listen to them now. Living in their own misery. Victim.
and they're not opening the third eye to what I can do to channel
Exactly,
my energy
dog.
to,
Dithathe langubo of that shame.
yeah,
Dithini? Yeah. And then ndihambe pha estratweni be like, you see my shame? Yeah, I did her ngolu hlobo.
And-
But the messed up part is you doing shit and not ke ngoku addressing
Acknowledging
it.
it. Yeah, you-
And then ke
I
ngoku
hate
ube ne
that.
action fethu to show ba okay, I'm doing better.
It always shows in the action. Like that's why they always say actions speak louder than words. Because umntu angaxelela ba nditshintshile, but if you don't see it in the actions, it's like okay, nah, it's not really it. Like to fana nomntu othi bana ndiyekile utshaya but yatshaya. Actions zakhe zithi uyekile utshaya but uthi uyekile utshaya.
You constantly around.
It's not the same. It's not the same.
And no wonder.
But yeah, man, I feel you when it comes to that part, but there's a lot of regret because abantu fumbled in a way, ne? But is ilanoba aba acknowledgeanga that they fumbled, that they can't even get up from that fumble.
Yeah.
Because abantu, yeah, that's what I heard. Now I'm going to tell that abantu is like they fail and they be like, yo, what am I gonna say? Yo, so much expectations on me. Let me tell you, you should have more expected of yourself than people of you, you know, because you're gonna chase their expectations instead of now you've been chasing some other people's expectation, they don't go as well as you plan, and still you be like, yo, I failed.
Now you have to manage those expectations as well, eh?
And then but you have to get up from it. And some people, luckily, they can get up from like live up to other people's expectations, you know. They fail and still live up to. But most of them, they be stuck in that trench. But for me, a reverse psychology to be unstuck from that trench of, yo, I fumbled the ball from the expectation, is stop thinking of what they expect from you and start thinking about what you expect from you. You know what, like, okay, yeah, this is me. What have I got to offer to the world?
Yeah.
Or like, okay, how can I offer this at a miniature level? Okay, how can I increase my miniature level? How can I start getting this to platforms? You know?
Yeah, as you fed to ngeyiphi enye into, sorry, just to cut you off a bit. Enye into that stops us is thinking that the menial thing that you can do ngeyona engazukwenza impact. Yabona into encinci fethu ngeyona into yenza impact. You see my first video when I went live.
Yeah, on top of the page.
Yeah, you see when it started.
Yeah.
You go back to my podcast and when it started. The person that I was listening to ngela xesha and the person that I'm listening to are two totally different people. Because just think about it, I'm always having a seesaw moment. The other side is saying abandon ship.
Yeah. And the other
I call you Siglando. Yabo, because now then I understand that I'm going to the field unprepared. Dinala fear instinct. But if people don't like my shit, that it doesn't matter. If people don't like my shit, it doesn't matter. And then my bro was like, dude, you're not doing this to be liked. You're doing this for when? Because remember, people need to resonate now, and remember they're gonna pick it up. Yo, dude. As I understand in the spaces, John, and then I started, and then man and these boys were okay every day. Was up in the boy, and then the moment I saw people reacting, now I started to say, okay, buy tuna in. And then my friend reminded me, there are those who are still in conflict. They're still holding you there. They're in conflict with themselves. Because in other stance is, in everyone, Lukho, there's a version of you, that sticks in their mind. But then ngokuhamba kwexesha, ngokuhamba kwe-experience, you understand, but singabanye consciously as escalate. Instead of stagnation, siya deplete. The years, iminyaka yanyuka. But instead of us consciously sinyuke thina, siya deplete. So now it takes me from that stance, but okay, I can look at this quite differently, Ngoku. I can look at everything quite differently to say, nah, man, after ixesha, you just need to pump this shit out. Now I tell him, dude, season 1, I'm gonna go to season 2, and Gafumani still impact the podcast. But yo, dude, I'm still tuning in. Continue way. And then I started with the interviews. Then I saw, okay, if I can get one episode to just go double digits, to me it feels like I won 1 million. Dude,
it's the small.
I was celebrating like hell. And I was telling my friend, bruh, we in the double digits if too. And then I go check my analytics. We have been viewed in the US and India. I was like, what? Dude, let's do this, man. Let's do this, man.
Let's go, man. Let's go.
Fair too.
It's
Let's
on.
go.
It's on, man.
But yo, T, fair too. Yo, dog, I'll understand, but when I tuned into that morning, I was like depressed as fuck. And instead, I'm just gonna go through the social media, get my shit for Galo 7 Media, and just exit out this bitch. Let me go to my Anchor app. Dude! I told her. After that, I went live, G. I was blazing. I was blazing, dog. And my friend was like, you're fair too. We are can't understand the band nita ngol hlobo. Like, yo, shit. I'm gonna give you more. For Londo, I'm gonna give you more. And then he came around and we had an offline conversation even about that. Shit. We're like, T, dog, there's a need for your shit, man. There's a need for your shit. We're like, chat, okay, I'm gonna work with that. Now, every time I just go live, I just think about all the people that resonates now.
Yeah.
There's you, there's Ubuhle, there's Ubongo, there's Ubabalo. I can count people on one hand. Even people that don't physically see me.
Yeah.
But if I can impact in India, yeah,
someone.
It shows bana now ingqondo yami is not just focused on the 60 million elab. I'm looking at the 1.2 billion in India as well. If I could crack that market, if we can relate to a 23 to 29 year old, a 15 to 23 year old, uyayibona dog. Yabo, when ngoku umntu uyayazi ba when I'm tuned into that podcast, I'm gonna get this. I'm gonna have igniting conversation, and that is the length that I want to bring, because it seems like singabantu asinayo indawo where we can chill and talk about, okay, this is what I've been through. This is what I faced. We're talking about. We need more of that. And enye into endifuna is I want all of us to be powerful together. I think about also other areas where we wanted to just so yo is start on a C1 umchitas from the backyard and so on and so on. And then when they come up, Bandz and Don, they bring it back to the hood. Okay, kid are representing us. I told this to Sungs and I told him, but fair to inspiration, dog. Because the untapped shit is here. Imagine you come big and when dog, nansi yake opportunity and full next school, do your shit. Yabo? Yeah, ibe on the low to people that you know but they're gonna execute on you, because Tina Fetu, we are the type of people who are gonna open the gates for everyone.
Exactly.
We are not into this hoarding business because we understand but the value that we're gonna provide is gonna far exceed what we're gonna be paid and yonke land. We are in the value building business.
Exactly. Damn. It's like investing. It's like properly investing.
So there's this need for Islight to have the conversation. So I'm gonna encourage you to have as a conversation that you usually have Nazo all the time, so that they can know, okay, that dude, he's gonna be on this. He's gonna be on this. And then eventually you get them in. One of them, you speak to their mom to say, because these lights are good with social media and so on. You see, the eddies and all these people are sleeping on what's next to them. And I always tell them, it tools is when you keep on looking, when it's all about awareness. Tata the right tool for the right occasion. But at the end of the day, how are we gonna know where your mind is at? You're closing yourself off. Dog, there must be some sense of stability in you. And I told this to Sungs, but he must slow it down. Sungs is in this rush of trying to find his purpose, thinking that once he finds it, then he doesn't have any work to do. Hey, I told him it's too early, brother. Yeah, we are in the crawling phase now. Look at me, Fetu. We are crawling like fair to subeka lewe age to expect lewe. I understand there's people who are putting pressure on you.
Yeah.
The one thing that you don't want to find yourself in is you doing things like I'm your study a subject that you have no interest in and uphela ube resentment towards umzali wakho. All those wasted years, what can you do? And I've always said this, we don't along the years in our teenage life develop a mental awareness and also mental strength to see deletion at defeat. And because our parents, they don't teach us but in some other things, you're not going to be good enough. Still we persist.
It's not his style, it's slow.
Articulate
and he would have been a master of that if maybe earlier on. At
a tender age, Lukho, all I ask is that our parents become participants of our growth. Because you need to know what your kid is good at. How come you're always doing this? Even my mom, before she passed on, she could see it's getting into this meditation and all that. And then I had Sadhguru, who I listened to a lot. Like, yo, mamelelo tatu nenchede, and so on. Even in the morning, whenever I chant, like he's meditating. And I thought when she mocked me, I was supposed to stop. Kinda understand, but no, that's awareness.
Understand.
I understand it, but that's awareness to say, okay, this nigga's on this. This is his shit.
Yeah.
And then I found the courage to shrug that off, to say, nah, man, that person is not teasing you. We associate another way. Like, look at all the shit that you're associated with. Like, feeling nice. Even when you're a fan of a certain team and someone says something that hit the nerve, like and you're a fan because of what that person says. But she's strengthening my force on loving that thing. Exactly. Because at the end of the day, laugh and mock me, I'm still identifying myself now because goodness in society. You see me as this chill motherfucker that's walking over there. Then it's what's happening behind the scenes, dog. So that's why I had to go through all of that and get to a point where now you have to character scan.
Yo, that's your character scan.
Yeah, character scan.
Boy, you must be able to do that.
Yeah, and we are born by we database that's always taking petabytes of information every day.
Seeing certain
every income. Isn't that feeding intelligence and conscious to say, okay, this is how I should move?
Basically,
it's chess, not checkers.
That's what I've been saying. Our brain is the most complex computer on earth. As much as it can develop any kind of computer, they still haven't unpacked the brain. We're still looking at the space. We don't even know what's in the sea. You know, it's that type of stuff.
We still have the same wonder.
We just know like 5% of the whole entire sea. Like that's our shores and certain places. Maybe the percentage has increased, but we don't know much about the sea. You don't even know much about the land, but the land we do know much about. Let's say like 80-90% because there's unexplored places in the world, But as I'm saying, man, there's always something you don't know. It's what you see, what you presented, Sometimes but not really understanding why land engineering is occurring. And coming back to the point of meditation, is another key to people unlocking what they're really gonna think about. Because when you meditate, you clean your mind. You clean, like you start to think about, like you don't think about nothing first. Let's say that
remove that dogma.
Remove everything. Then for me, that's how I found my passions. Like the first thing that came to my mind after meditation is like, for me, this is the thing I want to do for the rest of my life. And for me, it was always around people. For me, I've always seen myself in a people business. Even if it's media, acting, I've been mentioning this. And I feel like there's a whole lot of careers in the hood that we could unpack, but it's all solely based on what
the people in the hood like aspire to also have. You know, we can have a lighty that's inspired by a gangster in the hood, like it's a cheese and cheese, but he been so big baller light, then like if I feel like 15, 16, he's not gonna pay much attention to his football because he's gonna see that it's easier to maintain it by gangster, and he goes to that, but rather than light it's math. Then by pressurizing being a doctor and let maybe pieces.
In emphasis, we need more good role models.
Exactly. We need
so that they can see a tech guru, a motivational speaker, like an aspiring one like myself. Like dog, there is no limit that you can place except the limit that you place on yourself. And I think too many of us, we've been taught to abandon who we are because we are just seen as a mechanism of labor. Black equals labor. That is what they see. And like it starts where now, remember, our parents now have been teaching us what we need to be obedient to the master and all that. That's still submission. We are still under submission as a nation, because liberation in my eyes is if I can create an economy that will make my people flourish. Because remember, the current government inherited the previous system. The infrastructure apartheid, we are still living under their own laws, the colonization law. Our president still reports to the Queen. We're still running under the British, dog. And I don't want us as young people to run away from that. To say, Mamela, our forefathers did this and this and this. No. We need to be active in knowing these kind of things, because Lukho, how are you going to change? But we need, where they are saying our politicians are dirty, but how about we also do our own research? This is gone there. Singabine a media that is perpetuated and also owned by them, that is pushing a narrative, So now, as young as I am, now I need to also understand that media is a tool. It's an indoctrination tool.
Propaganda is
Hitler used it, dog. We need to learn from history. Hitler killed people and all that. But no one will tell you that Hitler made Germany into a superpower. VW namhlanje is VW namhlanje. Hugo Boss, Zonga's company, Mercedes Benz. German engineering is the best. No one wants to admit it was because of Hitler, because they want you to focus on all the wrong shit he did. He prioritized his own people. Now here I come, wanting to uplift a band bam, and I'm called pro-black. We are feared to ban a black agenda. When are we going to talk about the black agenda? Like, it's wrong when as a leader and dismantle their system, because their system is benefiting them. So and intentions of the system. I am mindful of it. I'm still learning about it. Exactly, dog. But there should be a parallel one. To lay to without the interference.
The outside.
Steve Biko, no Mampela Rampeli self-sustenance. We built our own clinics. Our own gardens and all that. It happened. It's possible. Black people should stop thinking this is their reality, dog. As penelanga, but dog, we were not born for it's the struggle. Ubasi stats, 47% of youth in Bandz is unemployed.
What the fuck? I've been saying that though.
And I can't run away from those stats of it, because there's always in Kuba for me to understand. But hey, there are 47% people that can relate to me.
And then they're part of this.
You can't that I can unlock in them to say, you can mobilize abantu with the same likeness as you. You can build a parallel system to born. And then we can make podcasts and go. Look at in the past, barrier for entering gogo a zero, and you still have young people who are not taking advantage. Like, dude, joining the lorry talk.
But we're so confined, man.
So that now is a kufumana, and I kufumana when have you seen many of us how we indulge ourselves in misery and we expect good things to find us?
And another thing is, we as black people, we like working Like we like talking about stuff and not putting ourselves in position. Like when you manifest, one thing I've noticed, you need to work. When you manifest, you need to work as hard as you can, because you're manifesting getting to that position. Yeah, well, and then when you're putting yourselves and working, you're putting yourselves in position for your manifestations to come to you.
And whatever you manifest, if it will we need mixed signals in it's gonna give you mixed results.
Exactly. So that's what I'm saying. If you manifest something, you work towards it so that you put yourselves in a position to receive that manifestation. You can't just say, I need $1 million, and just sit here. How about go try something? Go look for a tender. You never know. There's someone that's gonna say, hey, here's $1 million tender, but you couldn't have gotten it if you weren't working for it, you know? And just manifesting, say, I need $1 million.
And you can't ube ne-excuse about angikwazi ufunda iskill esithile. Iskill esithile, there's a scarcity of it. Thina siveske sithi YouTube sibali, how to YouTube university sibali. I'll need a certification yangapha YouTube sibali.
Online courses.
How far have you come? Hayi Khan Academy fethu fundisa science, maths nento. Dude, uzasifumana njani as well when you're on Twitter, on Instagram, looking at asses? Imini yonke algorithm izakunika ama-ass.
Exactly. If you're not researching, it's not gonna fuck with you. Like, that's one thing I also had to say. About YouTube, and I always record the type of shit you watch so that they know what to recommend for you to watch. If you're always watching bullshit, it's always gonna recommend bullshit for you. Because you can't know about Joe Rogan if you never even thought about searching about Rogan. You can't even know Sadhguru if you know, and that's not gonna recommend that to you. And those people are the enlightening ones, but you have to put yourself in the position where you are willing to learn
and you have to
willing
serve
to
through the bullshit. You have to serve to the bullshit, because many of the shit that's out there is not for a consumption. It's only just a distraction. Now as a person, you're intentional, you're there. They don't see it. When I'm out there, it's my moment for me to find a mining spot, mine as much as you can, take it home, dissect it, do it, preserve it, we observe, and then obviously you're gonna meet people who are gonna relate na la way. People bayilibele la way. Uyabona isigela fethu, instead of Tina is senze clever, senze dom, because you think go outside of school, learning stops.
No.
Have you seen how arrogant graduates call go dog? And I'm like, I want to hire this person.
Because then it's telling.
Because you degree, I'm thinking about rich dad, poor dad.
Like a fool doesn't want to learn. You can't stop. Learning never stops, man. That's one thing I had to learn the hard way. Like, you always want to know something, and then when you want to know something, you put yourself an opportunity of learning. Like uthanda ungathandi uzobuzwa bani lo andimazi yombuza igama lakhe. You learning. You get learning is as simple as that. And
there's no stupid question, eh?
Yeah,
no stupid
exactly.
Because the knowledge and half of the time the person who's laughing at you had no idea about that shit. You probably schooling them. Come again, sorry, can you just explain to me who Pablo Picasso is? And others will be like, what? You don't know who Pablo Picasso is? And then focus and then the definition of who Pablo Escobar is. Oh, Pablo Picasso. Why am I thinking Escobar?
This is Pablo's, man. You know the Pablo Garviria. Yo, that's a evil motherfucker.
Next, I just wanted to ask you a question on one of the greatest minds, black misunderstood minds on this planet. Ye. What you think about Ye Fetu and his journey? Like, what can you take from him that you can say from a positive view? About this is what I can take from Umchita, because Ye is a huge inspiration, dog.
Yo, I know Allah, even to me.
And I don't mind to the opinion. I understand public perception, but one thing in the Tanda about the odds being against you, and then you still you
go against the odds.
Dog, Fethu, even after zonke zazinto, I'm
That nigga was
inspired.
in
Fethu,
50 million debt.
when I was watching the Genius series,
Yeah.
dog.
That's how I
That-
also got.
Go and Pume Park la room, yo, Fethu. Really out, he makes me want to live my purpose again.
Exactly.
Because I was in a moment where I thought, nah, man, no one is gonna get this kind of crazy. But then Gogo, I look at Kanye and how many things still are thrown against him, and still he
That
rises.
nigga almost
Fethu.
died. That nigga was in 50 million debt. Like, come on, who does that? Has a $2 billion line. Yeezy, come on.
And remember, he was rejected, dog, by the top dogs.
And
Remember
Nike,
when he was crying.
Nike didn't want to take Yeezy. Where's Yeezy now? The only reason before.
Start how
Yeah.
you were introduced to him first
Yeah.
of all.
Yo, I don't want to act old and shit, yeah.
Nah,
But-
be on that shit.
but-
It's you, Fit.
Yeah.
Bring your you
Yeah,
up.
yeah. But the first time I heard Kanye shit was through The Wire. Like, that's the first song I can say is Kanye's song I heard. But I was like 6 years old that time. 6 years old. And then my uncle Ambe was bumming college dropout that time, yeah, bro. So it was like, yeah. So it's someone who plays an album every morning, eventually you get used to it.
Yeah, it's subconscious.
Yeah.
Get stored.
Exactly. So but for me, I experienced Ye on Enter the Throne.
Oh.
Enter the Throne.
Yeah.
Wow,
Watch
watch
the
the throne. Damn, how can I even forget? You see, that's when I really focused on him and Jay-Z. Because even Jay-Z, I wasn't really a fan of him. I just knew about him in the game in the time, and I didn't know his lyrical
And you
ability.
weren't, Masiti, you weren't exposed to his music.
Yeah, I
Like
wasn't
abanye
exposed to his
abantu
music
were,
as much.
because just remember, Fit, a lot of our influences nabantu abasingenise, like for me, my instance, Lil Wayne is the artist that made me fall in love with hip hop.
Weezy.
I remember in 2008,
Yeah.
I was sitting in transport, your best friend, I'm in primary school. I was grade 6 that time.
Yeah.
And there was this R. Kelly song that had Lil Wayne on. This was, I think, Galanyaka Kata 3 kanye kanye.
Yeah, I think Culture 3
So,
so, aim was, yeah.
My introduction to hip hop was Lil Wayne.
Culture 3.
Yeah, Lil Wayne.
Culture 3.
The Carter 3.
The culture, go. We all need the Migos
Yeah. The new gen. The new
Except-
gen.
Except.
The new
What is
gen.
I'm saying, man? College Dropout was really my first introduction to Kanye, yeah, bro. But I didn't know his. I always saw his award outrageous shit he did at awards, like at that award ceremony where he jumped on stage when Taylor Swift won that award. It was like Beyonce did that. Yeah, he had the best video. So I knew Kanye is that crazy motherfucker. But for me, even before, you see, Watch the Throne, like that's where I really opened my eyes to how crazily creative,
Yeah, artistically.
and artistically scientific Kanye really was. Because Watch the Throne really made me see, like, why is this nigga so flamboyant in a way? Not in a gay, like in a homosexual way, but like in a look at me, I'm trying to be. Because Watch the Throne,
He felt like he was conceited.
you see, so he had these big chains. Like there's this video had this big chain and he's standing, then this angel and you know how crazy it is, man. And I was like, damn, what the like, okay, I fuck with this guy because
Yeah.
he's dressing.
And yes, even the way you're talking about him is that you were amazed on how this dude was so crazy and comfortable with being him.
You know, and that's how, like, his way of expression, man. Like, he's one of the people, like, growing up, I was like, expressing myself wouldn't be a problem because I know there's much more crazier people than me, like Kanye, that can do much more crazier stuff. So I can express myself as much as I want. But as I was saying, man, after I watched The Throne, that's when I was really started being intrigued by Kanye. Then I went and looked up his older stuff, yeah, bro. Like his poetry sessions, his rap sessions and all that. And it was cool, man. It was like very, very cool for me because there was this Def Jam stuff, the show he performed in, and it did a live like poetry, so but it was rhyming and all that, and I felt like damn, because rap is that, man, rhythm and poetry, and it's always got to be the poetry. If the poetry is strong, then you know how strong the raps is gonna be, because all you gotta do is just get the rhythm, you know. And
when I found out he was a strong poet, that's when I started like paying attention to what he says. Because as a strong poet, that I'm saying, if it's only a matter of getting the rhythm and you're on a clean slate as a rapper. Yeah. So I found out about his poetry, started listening to his music more, and crazy lines started making more sense to me. Like in Otis, like shit he says, man, write my curses in cursive. Like what the fuck? Like yeah, that type of shit, man. I was like, okay, Kanye West is this and this and that. And then he started having this downward spiral, man. Like I was watching it on the media before I watched the Genius documentary. I was watching it in the media, and you could see his downward spiral, man. Cause after Donda died, like a lot of shit for him went down. But for that, the downward spiral went, and we could see that, like, even people who are not in his circle, like his bipolar reactions and the videos he would do and the crazy stuff he'd do, and you wouldn't think like that was just a way of him releasing his sadness. Because when I look at it now, it's like Kanye, even if he's still bipolar, but some of his sadness is long. Like most of his sadness is ejected from his system, because he had an opportunity to play it all out, and the whole world got to see like how crazy he was in terms of letting his sadness play out, you know. So his sadness played out in front of us, and he came back a stronger man in front of us. Another thing that just lives as like he's really proof that
you can reinvent
you can reinvent yourself, and he's really proof that you need to let the hurt play sometimes, you know, like let yourself feel that pain in terms of making it's gonna be making you strong. And for him, it's like being made a joke of in 30,000 people, like falling in front of 30,000 people. When you fall next time in 30,000 people, you're gonna just make it as a joke and be like, ah man. And then you fall the third time, it's gonna be like, oh, it's the usual. So most of the time, people are gonna be expecting you to fall, and it's gonna be like a joke instead of the negative it was at the beginning. And for me, Kanye got his most embarrassing moment at the biggest stage of his life, which is the world, the media, the props.
This is way after he also got confirmation from the media. He was good as fuck. But Kanye had been working so much to get back.
808 Heartbreak. Jeez. That album, he's the one who that really put like auto-tune in mainstream. Like Lil Wayne was using it for rap, he put it in mainstream because he was using it to sing. Like even T-Pain, like. Damn.
Damn. The other thing that I don't want to deviate away from is the fact that Tina, we work so much on who started this and so on. As much as I started this, but Lukho took it to another level. And Tina, as black people, we've been taught to hate ourselves. That's why we are fueled so much by competition. No Peter against one another, who's richer than the other one, and so on.
Who's got more pay?
I've seen it hurts us more than it does us good, because ndifuna ufaka a status of complimentary to say, but look at Lukho, he's out there with his YouTube shit. Look at Utati, he's out there with his podcasting shit. Look at Ubuhle with the forex. Look at shit. We have that sense of as deity zina the Avengers, like Tony Stark, noban, so that even nobabona base they're still in motion. They would want to be in the position that we find ourselves in. So while we're teaching them, we're also showing them the responsibility of the position to say, but dude, you don't get to be this person without
this and this.
Then Elite is not just attracted to the life you're selling him. He's also gonna admire the fact that, hey, with this thing comes responsibility, but with that responsibility, because to me, the more people trust me, the more freedom I have. Keep people trustworthy on you, G. Because this is something that we fail to ask ourselves is, do people trust me? Do I seem like a trustworthy person? Do I, like, when would you leave me, Nendo Yako? That's of value. And so it's those questions that we refuse to do, because we are too quick to throw on labels. Hi, is my friend. We've been together for 15 years. But you find Lord that doesn't know a single thing about me.
And it doesn't even have a best interest at heart.
You went through a lot of shit emotionally as a person, because now I was stuck. I have friends, but I can't talk to them about because in their mind they have that thing. You can't be smart and go into all this shit, dog. This can't be you. Dude, I'm human. I also need abantu who gonna see the human side of me, not who gonna see the lekaka could be information 80. Don't see me as one-sided. There's a tender side too.
Yeah.
There's this kind.
There's a lot of sides that need unpacking.
Dog. So I just can't be out who's out there. I'm emotionally intact. Got but when I go back and that, I feel miserable. So I had to realize, but okay, for the reasons unshares on. But how about the 7 are reasons to do better so that ozayo next ufika kuko stability. Because it's often shit that we don't ask ourselves is who comes in the relationship. Like Lukho, what type of person is coming into that relationship? Okay, ifuna le mate. But are you trustworthy? Ingabe when she tells you things that you don't like about yourself, uzohlala na? Umnomthandayo fethu is not gonna do the things ozithandayo all the time. Because I have to embrace that thing, but we are not here to change one another. We are here to grow with one another.
So cool, son.
So I need to feel good in my individuality. Dingas surround this bope around having a relationship, because have you seen bope to one section of your life, the others they crumble. Because when they focus on I need to keep this girl, I need to do this, I need to do this. You're running from a mindset of lack. From you need to keep. How can you keep something that doesn't want to be kept?
Exactly. Energies. If the energy is keeping it, you keep it. If it's running away from it, don't chase after it, man. As long as you know you're pure and your intentions are in a good place and you're working towards a good thing, never chase after shit, man. Because you'll know the shit that's supposed to come to you will come to you and will rightfully so and will stay.
And I used to feel because I'm thinking if I kept those relationships like that, I thought I'm just losing then I'm not me. Then I wouldn't be in this position. Would I have started this podcast? There's a lot of things that you can make yourself miserable about shit that don't matter. Shit that you went through. You were strong, but now here you are wanting to repeat it like knowing full well, but I learn from that shit. So I'm always in constant battle with myself. So when a person comes wanting beef, dude, I'm already fighting myself. You're the least of my worries. I'm still fighting my demons from the past, G.
Exactly.
I'm still trying to put them in bed, and every day
Exactly. You think you are.
Because this will catch up now, so I have to put them to bed. Sometimes again this unlock, so that you can see, but sometimes a certain side of you won't work. You need to unleash the other. So I do remember at one point I was caught very much in a quarrel. This quarrel had to do with me deciding, Ingabe, as a person, am I gonna continue to support the dismantling of my own character and my own dignity, or am I gonna lay low and let certain things not define me? The understanding, but the most important thing is how I see myself. When I started to see myself as God and as creator of my own reality, I think a lot of things started to make sense. That I had been believing lies about the people, a whole lot of shit, and the sense you understand now when I look as a person, but who you keep around matters, because you feed off Ababand.
The energy obviously is gonna surround you, so
So Fetu, as a person, when you continue on this journey and you find yourself in compromising situations, before you can place anyone else, think about how does this work out for Mnaqal.
I feel like there's situations there where you will need to compromise as much as you wouldn't like to compromise always, but as you're saying, man, it's all about you first, man. And I feel like that's kind of the main reasons I have an outlook on life that more sensible than this God stuff, you know. I get that gods are people in my perspective. Like, you choose to godify yourself, you can put it like that. Like, you the one that actually makes the god out of you, you know. And I'm just thinking, man, 2,000, 4,000 years from now, if I make something so great, wouldn't they call me a god? You get? Like, if I'd be someone that has so much money and do so much stuff and have high tech that's not of this age now, I do so much mad shit before it's time with my riches, wouldn't they say I'm a god for 4,000 years to come? I feel like that's the stuff that's been done by the people of back in the day. They tapped in so much energy, so much, you know, so much power that people couldn't comprehend them being human. They had to put them in situations that they called those people gods because they couldn't believe how much they could use their brains, you know. And I feel like it's there. The god is the brain, man, and that's the most sensitive organ to even think about it, because they can't even touch it. They can't even see it live, but you know, it's there. You know, it's like the god. You only hear about it, you never see it, but you know it's there. You know, I feel like that's the brain. The brain's a god, and the brain it feeds not on reality in different ways. You know, it depends on who is there or who is getting that experience or what age. It all depends. I feel like for me, the age of awakening is 6. Like, when you really feel like, okay, you're gonna start having memories about what happens from here and here. Because if I could ask you about shit that happened when you were 3, you'd hardly remember that shit. But I can still remember, because when I was 6, I was in grade 1. I can remember a whole lot of shit that was happening in grade 1. That's why I feel like 6 is the awakening age. And just think about that, man. We, as we grow, we experience so much shit. Like, as you said, you were quarreling with having to see, are you doing good for yourself or for the people that you want to do good for, you know? And the energies that you choose to surround yourself with. So as I'm saying, from that age of awakening of 6 and to the things that happen till now, they've made a lot into shaping what type of character you are now. Obviously, they've made a lot, and
you are a consequence of all the decisions you made.
And you have different ways of reacting to different scenarios because of the ways the shit you've experienced. It's like when but the next time you know how to duck, because you know that experience. Now it's like it trigger emotions. Now emotional situations happen like that, like
the body never forgets.
And then when you lose someone, for example, you think they feel that grief, but most likely next time you lose someone as close as that person was, you won't feel that deep of a grief because you kind of experienced it before.
I felt that way even with my mom.
There
was a sense that this was coming. And me, it's not deviating towards meditation. I would say meditation had been kind of a preparation for Mna, so that there were certain ideas, because now I could have a sense of quietness where I could entertain certain thoughts and empty ezinye, because ezinye izinto couldn't come to me as a person if beningas entertain ezancingo ezia as a person. But then when I started to realize about we need to deal with the inevitable, but eziana, those are the ones that we need to be in bed with. Like, I look at the reality of everything, it's like I kind of knew. So as hard as it was, I had to remind myself about I'm still part of the living. It continues and go. She's joined the spiritual world and she's guiding me from afar now. So when I got on this, I was like, God damn, man, guide me. Everywhere I go, guide me. Make sure you're looking out for me.
You know, the trippy thing is we both kind of relate to that thing, man, of losing a parent, you know. I also lost my mom, you know. And what was that just triggered me with what you just said, man, is how you felt that she was gonna die. I also felt my mom was gonna die. I was asking her shit, like, what are we gonna do? Like, I was the type of kid, you know, and I wasn't a kid when she died. I was like 16, so I was like almost fully aware of the shit that was happening, because I always felt like I was way older than my years, you know. I always felt like I might have been a 16-year-old naive kid, but I felt my mom's death was coming, you know. I was 16. Damn. Damn, yes. Damn, yes, flash bar, man. Like, I can't believe it. So as I was saying, man, I feel like there's a connection between reality and tapping into the energies. And that's what people don't really finesse, you know, the energies. People just move. Like, when you work towards something, you manifest obvious towards what you're working towards. That's the energy you put behind it. And the work is also the energy you put behind it. But when it comes to protecting ourselves, I mean, there's a whole lot of things that are armed against us spiritually, you know. When we come to
spiritual warfare, bro.
Yeah, you know, when it comes to achieving the stuff you need to achieve, it may be through friends, it may be through, you know, family, maybe through a whole lot of stuff, like even the teacher that you have at school, trying to not get you there where you're trying to get, you know. But it all comes back down to you and checking, like, who do you have? Like, who do you have? Like, for example, I'm an African. I always believe I have, like, you see, I'm sitting here, I believe there's like over 1,000 men in this room already, man.
Yeah.
You know, like, I always feel like my ancestors are with me, like, always.
You never feel like you're alone, man.
I never, man.
You walk with the greats.
Never. I walk with niggas that were 600 years in this shit. You know, I walk with, I feel like I'm there, you know, because a whole lot of shit happens to me, like, physically, that I already experienced spiritually, you know. I experience shit spiritually, then it happens physically. I can know when something's about to happen to my friend or shit like that. That shit, type of shit that comes to me, you know. But I feel like it's because I allowed myself to open that door. Because growing up, I wouldn't say I had it. Man, like, I feel it in my shit. Most times when I be absent, that's when shit be hitting the fan, you know. That's when shit be happening. I'm not there. Why? Because I read that energy. And ungafika bendikhona ngoko, but it's because I read that type of energy, man. And I finesse it in a way because I feel about, okay, this type of shit's about to happen, and be like, they be like, ah, man, did you say they be like, that type of energy many people have. Like, it's an instinct, you know, is strong wood. But instinct yethu sithanda isebenzisa xa seyi last resort. Yabo, like, xa suqombe, yo, I'm in a corner, ngwenza uthini. Then the instinct kicks in.
Yeah.
Instinct kicks in.
As refer to the importance I always want to raise about this whole thing you talk about instinct is the fact that the muscle layer that you build continuously over a clash.
Yeah.
So in me messing up, I learned how not to mess up.
Yeah,
but it starts with that. But okay, how can you just rectify A1? Once you become good at that, then you focus on the next thing, because there are plenty of things that are not going good, dog. And those problems, they're waiting for you to come there. You're like, you got this, okay, I'm down for you. So la inner beast, if no one is gonna do that for you. And when you see someone ignited in that kind of way, it scares you, especially when
that's what I'm saying. We're not finessing our instinct in the way we should finesse it. We finesse it at last resort. What I was coming to say is that our instinct is the strongest defense mechanism you could ever have, but it's the strongest attack mechanism you could ever have. Because with your instinct, it helps you defend yourself in shitty situations, but it can help you push yourself to propel yourself in higher situations of success. For example, if your instinct tells you for a job interview, you fucking go. Even if that job interview is negative, like they don't accept you, whatever, you don't know, you should have been there. Like, for real. Like, that happens a whole lot of times. You end up meeting people you haven't met in 10 years. End up meeting your uncle you haven't met in. It's life. These energies never lie. Like, when something is supposed to happen, it will happen. That's why I'm saying, you finesse your instinct all the time. If you feel like something always you gotta do this, you do it. Like, if I know and you feel like you should be an artist for a living, and you feel that it's in your instinct, god damn, do that shit. If you feel like being a doctor and you feel like you're a surgeon, a heart surgeon,
people in the business of trying to pounce on and convince others, I think Tina, we sway away a lot from being told that we are good enough, but you forget that being told you're good enough, it's you putting in the work. Like machita masifake nomsebenzi towards the shit that we want to make a reality of.
Exactly.
Because I do understand that your version of success is not the same as mine. If vision might not be the same of yours, but let's accommodate one another. Let's figure this out. Because when we are around abantu who like to stimulate one another, then obviously as mentally as a group siyakwazi upushana towards siyambona ubani okay ungathi uyakekela, okay let's get into la accountability that we are building. It's not omnye umntu trying to check you ngohlobo oluthile. No, fethu. It's about you understanding that your integrity is your own to defend. When you say uzoyenza into, keep your word as a person. That is all singabanye abantu sicelayo. And abanye abantu, they give you one opportunity to mess that up. And when they see your true colors, they be like, what? You're never gonna find me here. Because because some other people's time you can't waste, G.
And exactly. Some people don't undersell themselves. I wanted to
I'll never do that. I will sell myself to the top, G.
Exactly.
Because I want me, to be in a place where I can help me, God.
Exactly.
How am I gonna help you? Got and crippled. Now I'm trying to figure out my thing. Go. So now what's gonna happen? When that was away from me working on my thing. That nigga, he wants to read. He wants to do this. Oh, he wants to get me on this. Who does he think he is? And don't.
Get what the nigga was saying. On top of reading, you can be a doctor, a mental doctor, for whatever you want for less than $600. What the fuck?
How?
Books, my nigga. Books. I'm telling you. This nigga was telling me, bro. Like, it was not a nigga was telling me. I was watching this podcast, but you know, the niggas in the podcast is telling me something. So this nigga in the podcast was telling me that he got to be an estate specialized real estate through reading books. He has money, but he just became a real estate agent and a specialist at that through reading books.
Yeah. Financial books and real estate
exactly books, that's where the secrets are to whatever you want to achieve. I mean, you may say for people who like don't have money to chase whatever skill they want, just read a book on whatever you want.
Financial literacy, exactly. Is on. And shout out to Boshe.
Shout out to Boshe.
He's on that to free our minds, G. Because as nikwanga tools, we can't go to war without tools. Asizukwazi na. Things are gonna happen, I'm good, but things will eventually figure itself out. It's through the action, and
that's what I'm saying.
I think most of us, at a young age, we learn to be too weak-minded. We entertain shit that's not gonna take us anywhere, and we wanna be the big bosses, the CEOs, the niggas that make decisions. Yeah, ikala up the mentality yango. And you are gonna be your workers who are gonna resort to being used, dog, and all those kind of things. But you are not in that business, when you are in the business of doing what? Of developing the next generation. We have been dealt a bad card, but that doesn't mean we should also deal Abanya a bad card. We can talk about how Ubani is not doing this for Ubani, and so on and so on. Yo, let's run away from Lando and try to make uplifting one another compulsory.
It is compulsory.
The same way we can spread shit about one another's business and all that.
What one person said, we need to unite under one cause first, then we know where we're going. You see how white people, when you ask who's your God, they all point to Jehovah, because they know Jehovah is their God, is one movement. Wherever a white person is, you ask if he's a Christian, what God you praise? Jehovah. However, Muslim, whatever, who ask who they praise, a Muslim, they tell you Allah. They under one cause. We as black people are under different causes. That's why we're not as united as we should be.
Divided and conquered.
Exactly, because that's what they did to us. They divided and conquered us. But we need to get that shit back. They've been saying it. Like, we need to build our own shit. Yeah. Like you mentioned it, Biko and Rampele, gardening and libraries and clinics.
Self-sustenance.
Exactly, that's what we need. And then from that, we can self-innovate. If we can self-sustain ourselves, we can self-innovate, make our own shit.
I've said this countless times. This time we could be using. The youth needs to be in grips with technology. These youth abafuni Wi-Fi, abafuni yonke le way.
But they on it, information. Man. They on it though. They're on it with the TikToks, the YouTube. That's the only shit. I feel like that's why we're doing the podcast, because that's the platform they're in. And we need to chase them in their platform.
Yeah, and get them on grips with what podcasting is and so on. So, but understand, okay, there is in there where we can tune in and hear conversations.
I think they'd get it more if but poof, in time they'll get it more. I'm sure because we emphasize in the points that I mean, and the main point is like working towards the goals.
Work your ass off.
Trusting energies. Like some energies may disappoint you. That's life. I mean, always leave that room for disappointment. But another thing is trust energies and trust inspirations, man. Trust inspirations. I mean, there's a whole lot of inspiration in the world. A whole lot of people doing big in the world, and I won't lie, man, they're doing too much to inspire us for us not to do anything. I mean, we out here also trying to make something out of ourselves so that we can be that type of inspiration, you know. And I get that. I feel like that's the main thing that we need to be headed towards as the black people, because most inspiration for white people is already there. Bill Gates, your Jeff Bezos, your Warren Buffett, all these, your Mark Zuckerberg, these are white people. And white kids are inspired by those people because the white kids are busy in the AI robots by 16, 15, 14, 13, even 9. They're playing good shit. They're already in the robotic shit. And maybe it's because they're open. The doors for them is open.
Yeah,
but
they're at an advantage.
But our advantage is we have wisdom. Africa is the oldest place to ever live. Yeah. Like, this is where it all started. And we have the elders that have the wisdom. We must use that wisdom. We have the best literature in the world, uncapped. We have the best storytelling in the world. Like, that type of shit needs to be exposed. We have the best science in the world. The oldest university in the world is in Morocco. The universe is the study of the universe. University comes from the study of the universe, and we're the first people to study in the universe. We need to get our black people on that shit, man, knowing where we come from so that we know that why we're innovating. I mean, Moors are black people that came from Africa that went and innovated the whole world. Spain is what it is now. Europe is what it is now because of the Moors. Black people were already around the world before white people reached any part of the world. You get Australia, you had your Aborigines, black people. You had your America, you had your Indians, black people. You have your China. Even in Asia, they're hiding the black Asians, but truly we are black, and we need to know all that before we try and get our purpose in the world, because our purpose in the world is in finding our strengths always, and manipulating our strengths to work in our advantage, and not just in a superficial, beneficial way that will only benefit a single person, but make it a mutual benefit for you as an individual or an entity, and for the people around you. So I guess innovators and inspiration is already out there, man. So just catch on that. And as I'm saying, we're in Africa, we have all we need, man. It's just a matter of not closing our minds to seeing other countries' success as threatening to us, but we see it as inspiration, because other countries, as much as they conquered us and whatever, they still open doors for us to learn shit, but we're just not operating in those doors. And if we get that learning in those doors, we could get into higher positions.
Yeah, maximize our time.
Exactly.
Maximize our time.
As I'm saying, man.
Yeah, in closing, dog, be grateful for everything that has a way of teaching you. This thing, you only have one chance at it. That's the thing I love about this life thing. And my mom really taught me before all these things started to happen. She said, you're going to be alone, and the most important voice must be your voice. Exactly. I understand that I am your mother, but she wasn't saying this exactly, but now this is the way that I interpret it. Yeah. But nah, man, I am already embedded with what's supposed to. Yeah, but it's all about me unlocking it. I'm like Gohan with that power. Even my dad is like, yo, if I get on Piccolo, my trainer, dog, fair too.
Yes, sir.
We always gonna take this shit forward, so I relate that kind of way. So being in your company, Fetu, it helps a lot for you to understand by Mamela. we're not steering this boat alone. Yeah,
Yeah.
Likewise, if you to. And as a person, I love an independent thinker. I don't like a person who can't think for themselves, who can't view Dendo. Because what you can believe namhlanje is not what you can believe next week. Because information throughout that. That's the other thing. And let's learn to embrace new information, because a cognitive dissonance, it will come. Kaloku information entsha, obviously. Ayizuba concurrent nale ifikayo. So, but as a person, you have to be aware of into that's no longer doing you good.
Yeah.
Get rid of the bullshit as a person and understand ba siplaka into igrid ngoku. So xa uphuma up, okay, I'm gonna be meeting a lot of bullshit out there. The first thing I need to make sure is my force field is intact.
Exactly.
Yeah, well, no whatever way. Exactly. How come things are not affecting you? It's like that. I love living in the eye of the storm where most of the chaos is, because the stability pa. So meditation teach me that way, but no thought that comes through this mind belongs to me. I'm gonna entertain that. So you are greatness because you live greatness, dog. And too many of us, we don't want to live our power. We dim our light. So we dim light here, dog, because the universe needs to manifest what you want. Thank you.
Yeah, man.
Aweji. Thank you very much for joining us for yet another amazing and impactful episode. All the love and appreciation goes out to everyone who continues being a supporter of our podcast. And until next time,